Welcome to the Business and Bubbly podcast. This is the place for women in business who are on the journey of building their big ideas and want to have fun along the way. It's for those of us who also know we aren't meant to do business or life alone. Hi, I'm Charity Majors, your host and the founder of Business and Bubbly. Think of this kind of like the can I pick your brain chats that you've always wanted to have with those who are doing epic things, plus business besties, hype girls, and getting into massive action towards your next big idea all in the same place. Oh, and bubbles, because if you're not having fun along the way, you're not doing it right. Together, we'll unlock what it means to be seen, known, heard, and championed all along the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and being a woman in business building big dreams. Each week, I'll bring you a quick sip business tip as well as interviews from top experts that make you feel like you're getting bottle service for your business. We're having the raw and real conversations and chatting about all the things, the messy middle, the pivots, scaling, the good days and the bad days, because here we do real. It's where we can work hard, play hard, cry it out, and dance it out all at the same time without being judged. This is a place where we are in the arena together and we are each other's biggest fans because most of us have enough comments from the cheap seats. It's where our too much is par for the course and where the gaps of our not enough are filled in by the other epic women that are around us. It's where we can be unapologetic about the mission we are on, about the big dreams on our heart, and the business we are building without having to be perfect or have it all together, or even pretend to. It's a supportive community where business is being done amongst like-minded women because when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. It's a place where you have the support around you to get out of your comfort zone and go after your big ideas because even when you fail forward or when you reach the top, you know it won't be alone. Also, if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with creating platforms that lift up other women to be seen and heard and known. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite you to list your business on our directory called Find Women in Business. All you've got to do is text the word directory to 833-231-8098, and I'll text you the link back to get your free listing. This is also a great way to connect with other women in business from around the world, so definitely check it out. And now let's get to the good stuff. Grab a glass of your favorite beverage, Prosecco, bubbly water, or whatever your flavor is, and let's dive in. Are you with me? Here we go. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Charity Majors, and welcome to another episode of Women to Know. We have a really great guest jumping on today. And if you are new here, I actually would love for you to, if you're watching on Instagram Live, comment below, let me know where you're tuning in from, say hi, and if you are listening on the podcast, then make sure that you give me a little digital high five, that you take note of your favorite talking about with what we're talking about today with our special guest. And we are gonna jump right on in. So I'm gonna introduce her and then we are gonna dive on into our conversation. So this is Marla. She actually runs an incredible aesthetics clinic called Upward Regenerative Medicine. And what they really believe is that life feels good. Achieve your ideal weight and body image, enhance your sexual health, and at Upward, they take an inside-out approach to everything that they do. Combining the best practices with the best technology, they say no to urinary incontinence, diastasis recti, lackluster performance, low libido, and no energy. And they say yes to resetting your metabolism, optimizing your hormones, losing fat, building muscle, having more desire, more satisfaction, and enough energy to jump on a trampoline without leaking. I love it, love it, love it. It's so applicable, so practical, especially for us as women in business. So Marla, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to chat today.
Me too. And thank you guys so much for having us. We're thrilled to be part of Business in Bubbly and the Treasure Valley and all the things.
Love it, love it. Well, give us a little bit of backstory of maybe how Upward started, but also why you are a part of it and why you're really passionate about like helping, like especially our girls, like especially women in business. Because I know like reading some of those things, like it's like check, 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 like right, like we want all those things.
There's definitely
so give us a little bit of background and we'll just kind of chat about it.
Perfect. I think that there's a lot of things in the beauty industry that falls under functional medicine. So I've spent the last 20 years of my career focused on the beauty and aesthetic side of wellness, of making sure that what we're doing to our bodies when we're trying to achieve our look, right? The way that we present ourselves to the world is in our look, and that to be a canvas for you to feel really amazing about. And last year in June 21, I got the opportunity to partner with Dr. Bradley Gilman, who owns Idaho Weight Loss and Wellness in Twin Falls, and Dr. Roy Strickland, who owns Better Life Chiropractic here in the Valley. And they were in the process of opening Upward, which is their love child. And everything we do is about making you feel good and look good inside and out. So we are really here for everybody that's ever been told that they're normal and then walked away going, but I don't like how normal feels. Normal doesn't feel right to me. And especially as busy women, especially as women entrepreneurs, when we're juggling and wearing so many hats, it's so important that our bodies are functioning properly. We don't have time for our bodies to fail us. And we've spent the majority of our careers and our lives adapting to things that we can be fixing. One of those is peeing your pants. I have 2 children myself. And so I know firsthand what it's like to be like, oh, hey, everything's great, except I sneeze and I pee now. And my doctor was like, yeah, because you're a mom. And now that doesn't have to be the answer. The answer can actually be this fun little chair that I'm sitting on right now, just a little angle. So this is actually Imsella. So this chair is the one that's going to help you tighten up that pelvic floor so that you can have better functionality. No more leaking, no more worrying about having extra clothes for a busy day, no more worrying about bending up a toddler and worrying that you're going to leak all over your shoes. You don't have to live like that. And it doesn't have to take forever. You don't have to go to surgery. You don't have to be out of commission for weeks on end. You can come in and sit on the chair for 30 minutes. We usually recommend 6 of them, but like everything else in the office, it's customized to what you need. And that was really the whole function of Upward in the beginning, was what is it that is normal on your scale that we need to optimize and make it work properly? Because when we do that and we're able to optimize what your body is doing, now your body is part of this team that's team charity that's doing all of the million things, especially in your condition, making sure that that body is not something extra on our plates, but is something that's working cohesively with our everyday. So we not only help you get to what your optimal goal is, but then we give you the tools that you need to stay on track. And that is different for every person. But our wheelhouse is making sure that your innards are working properly. That's your hormones, that's your metabolism, that's your lymphatic system. Making sure externally you're getting what you want. That's your muscles. That's the way that your fat is being carried on your body. Whether or not you have cellulite in your skin, if your skin's sitting and is texturized the way you want it to be. All of those things we can make effective changes on that don't require huge amounts of time investment. They don't require huge amounts of downtime. In fact, very few of our services require any downtime whatsoever. And we're not just about the ladies, we're about your men too, because we know that behind every strong woman is a strong man. And Lord knows it takes a very strong one to keep up with us. So we want to make sure that they're optimized as well. Because we know that, right? Like, we're not sitting around just doing this for us. We're bringing our girlfriends in, we're bringing our boyfriends in, we're bringing them all in, because when the world functions better, everything is better. Now you're sleeping better. Now your food is being processed in a way that makes you feel better, and everything is perfect. And it's crazy how those 3 things all work together.
I love that. So maybe for some women who are sitting here listening to this and they're like, oh, okay, like maybe some of that normal, like maybe that's resonating with me, but I'm not quite sure what that
normal that I maybe am adapting around, or just have believed it's because I just had kids or because I'm whatever? What are some of those symptoms or those things that can show up that we as a general society have now deemed normal after something, but actually it's not normal, and that you guys actually help the body get back to real normal? So what are some of those things and how they show up?
We'll start with our moms. So the first couple of things that are going to show up is peeing when you laugh, jump, sneeze, cry, talk too loud, any of that. That's your pelvic floor muscle being weakened. We can go in and we can re-strengthen up that muscle. And the best part about doing things that work with muscles is that once you strengthen a muscle, all you got to do is keep it in motion and keep it going. So we can do that. For our moms, after you have a baby, the muscle in the center of your abdominal cavity separates apart, and in most cases, it never goes fully back together. Very, very few times is it actually recommended to have surgery for that, because it's usually a really small gap, but a really small gap can impact how effective workouts are and how easily it is for you to do things like hold a Superman pose in yoga, come up out of an inversion, do a sit-up or a crunch. If you're really feeling like that's not working for you, or you don't feel like you feel anything when that happens, we can help you with that. Tired, feeling like you're getting your sleep, but it's never enough sleep. Feeling like you've got mommy brain or brain fog. We've been calling it COVID brain for a year now. A lot of that has to go with your lymphatic system and your metabolic system. A lot of people don't realize that if you are not eating the right foods at the right times of day, that you might not be absorbing all the nutrients of those foods. So you could be drinking all the water, but still feel like you're super duper hydrated. And that might be because you don't have enough magnesium in your system. And if you don't have enough magnesium, the water's going in, but there's no molecule to grab it and pull it into your body the way that it needs to be. So we actually do blood tests that will find out what you're deficient in, which is something I recommend to everybody. There's a lot of people that can guess and throw things against the wall, and it's a really big spectrum. So a lot of things stick, but we like to be for sure. So we like to run the tests and see what's really deficient in your blood, really sit down and talk to you about what you're feeling, what's going on in your life, because a lot of times it's really simple little adjustments. Even things, we'll give one today that's one of my favorites. Protein before carbs keeps the foggies away. And I never would have thought about that. We like to wake up and everybody's like, oh, you wake up and you have your toast and your water and you take your vitamins, right? Well, if you switch that toast out for a little protein shake or an egg, it changes your whole day and it changes your whole metabolic system, because instead of we're going to wake up slowly, like the bread tells it to, the protein tells it, hey, we got work to do. We need to wake up right now. Let's do this now and let's get ready to go. And you start doing that and you feel more alert throughout your day, which is amazing. And you're burning better calories and all of that. So even those tiny little tweaks, and then adding in what's within your metabolic panel. And sometimes that's hormonal, right? We don't always know when our hormones are going to fluctuate. So a lot of times if you were checking off your boxes, right? I'm taking my vitamins, I'm drinking my water, getting plenty of sleep, I'm eating healthy, but I still don't feel quite right, that's where we start to go into those hormone panels. And that's where we're going to look and say, okay, everything at step level 1 is working. So let's go a little bit deeper. And once we go deeper, a lot of people don't realize that we all have multiple hormones. It's not as easy as check the estrogen for women and check the testosterone for men. They have to work together. They have to work cohesively. And so if one of them is out of whack and you don't even look at the other one, you could create more problems than solutions. So we make sure that we do that as well.
So good. And so I feel like it's something that maybe doesn't get talked about a lot, like especially for busy women in business. You know, we're trying to do all the things and be all the things to all the people and be at all the meetings and, you know, like,
oh, 100%.
like, and it's like, man, like how much more either efficient could we be, or more focused could we be, or have more clarity around our business? You know, sometimes I hear where it's like, oh, like women, you know, they're kind of stuck in their head and they're whatever. Well, that's good, but maybe you don't need another business strategy. Maybe you need your hormones checked.
Yeah, 100%. Because so I joined the team with Upward right as we opened in June of 21.
Okay, friend, I am jumping in the middle of this episode really quick to give you a special invitation. And it's because this episode is sponsored by our very brand new, which I'm super excited to share, our virtual networking group for modern women in business. And if you are listening to this, you clearly are that. And I would love to invite you. We actually meet online on the third Thursday of every month. And these are quickly becoming one of my favorite things. And it's because there's something special that happens when us as women, when we take intention and come together and focus in on something, right? What we focus on grows. And when we come together, focus on connection, when we focus on growing our business, when we focus on making those key collaborations and connections with other like-minded modern women in business, our business grows and our connections grow and our network grows. And if we are we know that that's one of the most important things, that squad is one of the most important things, that no matter what happens in business, no matter what pivots we take, no matter what's going on in the economy, that our community and our network is one of the most valuable assets. So I would love for you to join us in our brand new virtual networking group. This is our virtual chapter. This is a fun co-play event where high-level, like-minded modern women in business, we gather together, we network. We have a guest speaker that comes in and teaches us either a fun little quick tip about branding or business or social media or different things like that. You can bring your favorite glass of bubbly. We do our little virtual cheers on the screen, and we have a whole lot of fun. And if you know anything about me, you know that this is not your cookie-cutter networking event where someone shoves like a bad business card in your hand, they verbal vomit a really bad 30-second story, and it leaves you feeling like you're surrounded by sleazy salesmen. No, this is an online room filled with your soon-to-be business besties who are building business, who are modern women in business, and who are wanting to really make not only local connections like our local chapters do, but the global connections with like-minded women from all over. So if you want to join us, which I would love for you to do, head on over to virtual.businessandbubbly.com. That's virtual.businessandbubbly.com, and you can grab your ticket and come join us today for our online networking chapter. And I cannot wait to see you on Zoom, to learn about you, to hear about your business, to support you, to make some really amazing connections with you and for you, and to see you rise. Again, head on over to virtual.businessandbubbly.com to join us for our virtual networking chapter. We'll see you soon. Now let's get back to the episode.
Prior to that, August of 20, my doctor told me that I was normal, except my life was essentially a dumpster fire, and so I was naturally depressed. And that's why I wasn't sleeping, and that is why I didn't feel like myself. And it had nothing to do with me. I was depressed, and I had ADHD, and that was going to fix everything. So after a long time of being very confused by that, because I honestly didn't really think that I was depressed, and I didn't think my life was that much of a dumpster fire, I gave it a shot. I did what she needed me to do, but it didn't really actually seem to fix anything. I felt like I was just taking these pills, and every time she told me that it just wasn't working yet, I should just take them for longer. And then fast forward to when we opened the clinic, and we got about a month into working together, and Dr. Gilman looks at me and he says, "Did you know that you're estrogen dominant?" And I went, "No, I didn't." And he rattled off all of the exact same symptoms that my doctor did before she put me on antidepressants. And he goes, and I go, "So there's a chance that I'm not completely crazy, because I do understand, and I want to make this perfectly clear, there are different variations of options for everybody. So my story does not mean that antidepressants no longer have a place. I am still on an antidepressant. I just didn't need quite as many as what they thought originally, because we ran my blood work, and it turns out my progesterone was gone. My estrogen was in the toilet, which means I was rapidly heading towards those menopausal symptoms. So could I have continued to go down the other path and pile medication after medication on top of it and still not felt quite right? Yeah, that was the path I was headed down. We reset, we restructured, we did a couple of things, also realizing that my cortisol was through the roof because I'd been functioning on a high stress level for so long. My body wasn't ready to let go of that stress hormone, which was making it really, really hard for me to lose weight because my body was under the impression that any minute now we were going to starve to death if we didn't store all this fat. And by using very, very simple techniques, I increased my omegas and I increased my vitamin C levels to help counterbalance my cortisol levels. And over the period of 3 or 4 months, I was able to not only bring those down within normal ranges, but I was also able to bring my D3 up, which helps to stabilize your mood. So there's a lot of things that happen simultaneously that today I'm still on a low dose antidepressant. That is still very necessary for my mental health, but I've never functioned with a cortisol level this low. And I kind of feel like a rock star. Like the things that we should talk about more, where I'm like, wow, I kind of thought I'd lost my edge a little bit. And same thing that you were saying earlier about as businesswomen, we start to think that we need another business strategy. And I'd really start to think that I lost my edge, that I wasn't as good as I thought that I was, because crazy, your hormones will make you question really strange things. Because you and I both know it is insane for me to think that, oh, all my brilliant business ideas just dried up one day along with my reproductive abilities, and now we're just going to wander off into the desert to die alone. When all reality, I just needed to maintain my cortisol levels. I needed more protein than what I was getting. And that's the fuel that my body needs, both for muscle and for my brain. And now my brain's going, girl, you got this. You didn't need another business strategy. You needed a nap and some vitamin C.
So good. I love it. So this is obviously like on the airwaves in a lot of different places as people are listening to this. So obviously you guys are a local business.
Yep.
Do you have other things that you can recommend for people who maybe they're listening in a totally different area than where you are at, obviously, in Meridian, Idaho? Do you have things where they're like, oh, like, okay, I'm recognizing myself in some of these stories, and I have to ask you questions, or what can you do for me, even though I'm way over here in Florida or wherever?
So depending on what your issue is, we've got lots of options because we love options, right? So option number one is you are always welcome to fly out and come see us. Let us know when you call in to schedule that appointment that you are coming in from out of town, and we actually have a special rate for that. Because as much as we love recommending, we also understand that people have different preferences. So if your preference is you want to come see the OGs and you want to come see Dr. G, fly in, we will take great care of you. We even have a partnership with a local hotel. We'll get you a great rate. If you are in another city and you really want to check out the machines and the devices that we do, head over to BTL Aesthetics. That's B as in boy, L as in love, and T as in totally. So that's actually backwards. That would be a BLT. BTL Aesthetics. And type in your zip code, and that will tell you where the closest Simcella is. It'll tell you where the closest Neo is. All of the machines that are in the BTL family will be available on that. And there are machines all over the world. So if there isn't one near you today, there will be soon. And then the third part is that if you are really interested in having an Upward near you, or an Upward come out and train one of your doctors, that is actually part of what we do. So as we expand and grow, we want to help everybody to get on the same page and deepen their understanding in that. So you can always go that route. And then when you're looking for somebody to help you with your answers, a couple of things that you want to know is, do they do lab testing with blood? Do they do their testing with saliva? We test hormones in 2 different ways. And also every physician is allowed to interpret their normal baseline for themselves. So really ask them what they look at before they even draw your blood. Find out what some of the things are that they're going to be looking at, because you can go in someplace and have them do a full metabolic panel on you, and their full metabolic panel might not include all of the necessary tests. You want to know where your cortisol is, where your A1C is. You want to know all of the hormones, not just one. So if you're going to a specialist that says, hey, I can run your hormones, let them know. I want to know what my progesterone, my estradiol, and my testosterone is. And that goes for men and women. So I know that it's shocking to a lot of people. We all have all of the hormones. Cortisol is actually a hormone. That's your stress hormone. Make sure that you're checking that. Make sure that whoever you're dealing with, especially when you're buying supplements and you're doing the things that you need, don't be like old me. Don't be like me that was like, I'll take the whole aisle, right? Because if one is good, then all of them are better. No, that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
Dr. Gilman set me straight. That is not true. Do not be like old Marla.
Yeah.
Really make sure that you understand what you're taking and why you're taking it. And if you don't know why you're taking it, you probably don't need it. You need a multivitamin for sure. You need to be taking a fish oil. When you're taking your supplements, make sure that they're pharmaceutical grade and third-party tested. That's super important. Pharmaceutical grade doesn't mean you have to have a prescription for it, but it means that it was tested at the same level as all your pharmaceuticals to make sure that the quality that is in there. Because in most places, vitamins and supplements are not as regulated as prescriptions. So you want to go for the companies that are treating them that same way, so you get the highest quality. And then ask questions. Ask all the questions. If you're ever in a situation with a professional and you're talking about your body and your feelings and your needs and you're afraid to ask them questions, you got to figure out how to break that barrier. You either got to find the person that makes you feel safe and comfortable, or you got to really channel that inner bestie and say, I'm brave and strong and I can do this, and ask those fierce questions, because your health is so important. You have to be an advocate for it.
No, I love that so much, being an advocate for yourself and like asking the questions. And yes, that is so needed, so important. I love it, Marla. Well,
and also
I thought you were saying something. Go, girl.
Yeah. Also remember, because we are notorious for saying I don't have time. If you do not have time to get ahead of the problem, then you will never have time to fix the problem. And preventative maintenance is so much easier than a complete total overhaul. Make the time. You are important. You are vital. Make the time.
Oh, so good. Mic drop on that for sure. Yes. If you don't make the time, I feel like our bodies are really good at saying, actually, I'm just going to stop working.
Yeah. And when it stops working,
here's your time.
Yeah. It's a lot more expensive. It's a lot more expensive when the body shuts down. So much easier just to give into it.
Totally. Maintenance is way better than emergency.
Yes.
Whatever. I love it. Well, Marla, I'm sure people are going to want to reach out, connect with you, figure out what is going to work for them if they're locally, as well as maybe they have questions. They're listening to this, on the podcast, the replay in a different area. And they're wondering, okay, like this, or, they might have just questions and want to reach out. I know you are available for that. You are one of the biggest hype girls and business besties out there. So where can people find you guys, follow you, reach out, get into your world, start to learn more about what it is that you guys help us as women in business do?
So you can find us right here on Instagram at Upward Regenerative Medicine. Same thing goes with Facebook. We're at Upward Regenerative Medicine on Facebook as well. You can find us on the Women in Business directory. You can also find us at www.upwardregen.com. You can reach out to our office here in Meridian, right off of Locust Grove and Ustick, and you can give us a call at 208-563-3595. And any of those ways, you'll get to me and the provider team, and we will take care of you.
So good. Well, Marla, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and just for your time, and super excited after my little baby is born. I will for sure be coming to see you guys to put those abs back where they need to go, and put some things back where they need to be. And
As it should be. As it should be. Because guess what? Making life is a huge job. You don't need to worry about those abs afterwards. We'll take care of them for you. You don't. You're doing it.
I love it. You got my back. I love it. And my front.
Yep. Back, front, all the way around, insides, outsides. And we are thrilled to announce that we are actually moving our launch party for Botox and injectables. So what we do for the body, we will be doing for the face, is actually going to be on September 30th here at the clinic from 4 to 7. The BTL bus is coming back into town to be doing all sorts of free demos, and we will be launching a brand new technology that is going to blow your face off in the best way.
Love it. Well, so fun. Well, stay tuned for those announcements right here on Instagram. And if you are on the podcast, just come hang out with us on Instagram, because we do have lots of fun. So, all right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here, Marla. Thank you for your time. And as always, cheers, cheers, cheers to your success. Bye, friends.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope it brought some value and some fun into your business and life. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and even share the episode with a fellow business bestie who you know will love it. It helps us continue to attract top-level guests and reach more and more women who are on their journey in business just like you. Remember that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. Cheers to your success.